welcome everybody. Thank you for the wait. We're making sure that everything is ready for our brief session with you guys today, but welcome. It's very nice to have so many people sign up to have a nice, wonderful, lovely, brief conversation about mindfulness as a tool for you as a parent and something that you can learn and start using at home. And hopefully something that can kind of feed your curiosity. There's a lot of information out there about mindfulness and guides and plenty of experts who have resources to help you use this as a tool for your parenting. So today we're going to just talk about mindfulness and its connection with well-being as a type of introduction. And we will do a little 5-minute mindfulness exercise at the end. So really when we're talking about mindfulness and well-being, it's very important for us to understand what mindfulness and well-being has in common. I need to go on to my next slide if someone can help me out with that. Oh, wonderful. Okay. So what is well-being? Well, well-being is a combination of feeling good and functioning effectively in our everyday lives. Now, that indeed includes positive emotions, the experience of negative emotions and our ability to manage those successfully, and having healthy relationships. To mention just a few of the things that obviously are well-being concepts that are included and contribute to our well-being. So what does mindfulness have to do with well-being, and why would it be pertinent for us to offer you guys an opportunity to find out more about it and potentially to use it as a technique as a parent? So, the way out is in. This quote is a saying that kind of explains in order to be able to take care of other people or the people outside of ourselves, we need to really take care of our own selves. And mindfulness for parents is something that you will be doing first and foremost for yourselves, for you guys to realize the benefits and be able to take that into your family home and to experience them with your children. We're also the people that our children look up to. They imprint off what we do, and we can be obviously people who show them how to use mindfulness techniques in a positive way and in everyday life. So this is a quote from Buddha that encapsulates the kind of concept of mindfulness and its connection with well-being. I'll just read it for you now. The secret of health for the mind and the body is not to mourn for the past, worry about the future, or to anticipate troubles, but to live the present moment wisely and earnestly. It's a wonderful quote, but it doesn't seem like an easy task. So why do we have to practice mindfulness to be able to be mindful? We're going to talk about reaction and responses now, okay? Essentially, the Buddha's quote is very simply remarking on our mind's tendency to time travel. Often our mind is drifting into the future, worrying about things and concerns that are going to happen, about things that we have not thought about, or the uncertain things in our futures. Or it's drifting back into the past and we're overthinking things that have happened and we're analysing what we've said and done, and we're taking our minds away from the present moment. So I'd like to just have a little show of hands with the people that are here with me today, and potentially on the chat you can say yes or no or make a comment. How many of you, since I've been speaking, have had a thought enter into your mind of something that's coming up about the future or about the past? No one? Some people online? Very present ladies. We've got very present mums here today. It's a good start. It means we're on good for mindfulness. So often what happens for most of us is we're having thoughts pop up into our head. We have over 12,000 thoughts a day. And when they pop up into our head, they're very often not something in our conscious experience. but they tend to be things where we're projecting into the future or projecting into the past. It's very natural and very habitual, a habitual way of thinking. And mindfulness is creating a habit that is a choice habit. And so we need to have practice in it. And the awareness of the present moment is what is the key player in how we can achieve mindfulness. And awareness is something that in neuroscience we know is directly connected to attention. And attention impacts our ability to learn, take in new information, and so awareness is a really key piece of what we're trying to develop both for ourselves and for our children when we do mindful practices. So the idea that the present moment awareness is something we actually are training when we're practicing mindful techniques. So we're talking about attention and awareness, okay? But it's also the key is to do it non-judgmentally. This is why non-judgment is really, really important part of mindfulness. It's the foundational piece of the success of your mindful practice. And again, the idea of awareness of the present moment, I'd like you to become aware of whether you've judged yourself today, right? Whether or not perhaps you woke up in the morning and said, oh, my hair's not looking great. Or personally woke up in the morning and said, oh, another grey hair, I can see another grey hair, right? So we so often judge ourselves quite easily and quickly. So the idea of being mindful is not only using your awareness and your attention, but to do it without judgment. And if we recognize that we're judging ourselves, we can be aware of the judgments that we're placing on others and potentially look at how our children are judging themselves. And children are very often judging themselves, is what we notice in school. It doesn't work. Okay, so mindfulness is a non-judgmental, sustained moment-to-moment awareness of our thoughts, of our physical sensations, and our emotional states. It's the awareness that emerges through paying attention intentionally to the present moment without analyzing how things are. And this means paying attention to how things are really at any given moment and not how we would prefer them to be, which is where it's quite difficult as a parent sometimes. The ideal behavior that we're looking for or what we would like to be happening isn't often what actually we're having to accept in that moment of time. So it's not easy, and it can be a daunting task, but it does just take practice. And mindfulness is something that you will find the more you do, the more you create a mental fitness almost in it, okay? So mindfulness is a tool that enhances your well-being because it increases positive emotions. It can also reduce your heart rate and help your sleep increase and increase productivity and also how your imagination works. And in fact, there's now empirical evidence to a whole host of physical and psychological benefits from mindfulness, and the science of mindfulness and its positive effect on well-being is really well documented and respected, which is why it's a pop culture thing coming up a lot at the moment in the world. So mindfulness can promote a deeper and more enduring sense of well-being, found through simply being with whatever it is in the present moment. And also with our parenting, it can help us respond to our children and their needs more aptly, as well as modeling positive mental fitness ourselves for them. And just like physical fitness, we need to train so we can get better results, which is why mindfulness is often referred to as a practice. So in practicing mindfulness, we allow ourselves to have a greater flexibility and an accuracy in our perception of what's happening in the moment, as well as having a greater acceptance of the less reactivity towards our children's behavior and in our relationships in general. For example, I think most parents know when you're in the supermarket and your child wants something and you tell them they cannot have something, how can you be mindful in that moment when your child starts to have maybe an adverse reaction, a quite large emotional reaction in front of other people? If we think about that situation, we often go to worry about judgments from other people. We start judging ourselves. How could it be that my child's doing this? And we start judging our child's behavior as well. And we tend to start feeling embarrassed. And emotional embarrassment obviously then has a cascade of effects afterwards. So instead of dragging our child out of that supermarket in embarrassment, if we were able to have a mindful moment, perhaps we could connect better with our child and what it is that they need from us in that moment in time. And it does take time to be able to do this, because essentially mindfulness is giving you the space to see the world through your child's eyes. I often talk about mindfulness when I explain it to people like an itch. When you have that itch, you can react, and you just simply itch and go straight for the reaction to the feeling and the sensation that you have. Mindfulness is offering us with a little gap to wonder before we react, to decide how we want to respond and make a choice on how we respond, and potentially choose more healing or curative responses. And so if you remember that metaphor when you're thinking about this example of your child in the supermarket, it's easier to not get completely frustrated and angry straight away, and to take some time to think about really what is going on for your child in that moment. And essentially, if we do this really well, and we practice mindfulness in many more elements and moments of our lives and situations, we can create really more enduring and satisfaction and enjoyment in the relationships that we have with our children, and with any other relationships that we manage to apply our mindful techniques to. So, I would love to take just 5 minutes now to just do a little mindful practice with you, and let's test the waters a little bit together. Remembering to please be kind to ourselves, and reacting in complete non-judgment to everything that comes up. We're going to use mindful breath and mindful listening as two easy techniques to start off with, which you can teach your kids easily at home without a problem following this event. So I want you to find a comfortable spot, get yourselves comfortable. Our ladies are in yoga mats here with some cushions, and I'm on my little meditation poof here. And make sure that wherever you are, even if you're at the office and logged in from work, that you find your body in a comfortable position, and you start to feel what's going on in your body. And to relax, most of the time we need to let our shoulders drop, release our neck, and any tension in our jaws. And if you feel like it and comfortable, and you can close your eyes. And just find a nice balance and connect in with yourself. And take a deep breath. I want you to place your attention, focus your attention on the entrance of your nose. And you feel the air come in with every inhale, and exit with every exhale. If you feel more comfortable breathing out of your mouth, that's not a problem. Just make sure your attention is on your breathe in and when you breathe out. Notice any places of tension in your body. Put your attention there. Breathe into those areas, and when you exhale, try and release that tension wherever it is in your body. You may have some aches and pains. I've got a sore back at the moment, so I'm not going to manage to get all of the tension out of there, but I'm releasing around all of the other limbs and areas that I can. And now I want us to take our attention to our breath. We're going to do a big in-breath, and we're going to extend our abdomen and try to have the largest breath we can have possible with our shoulders remaining relaxed. And we breathe in, and we exhale out. Focusing on your abdomen. Some people like to make noises when they release their air because it makes them feel more relaxed. Feel free to do that if that feels good to you. Okay, now while we're sitting here nice and relaxed, we've released the tension in our body. I want you to try and focus your attention and awareness on 3 sounds in the area surrounding you. It could be the tick of a clock. It could be the sound of a projector. It could be a bird in the distance. Pick 3 sounds. Focus your attention on those. Your body remaining completely still and relaxed. Notice how your body feels, non-judgmentally. Just notice what's going on inside you. Keep your awareness and your attention on those 3 sounds. And don't worry if your mind wanders and you have to bring it back. It's a practice. It's something that we will become better at the more that we do it. Remember this idea of mental fitness. The idea is not to do it perfectly, but to always bring yourself back to putting your attention and your focus on those 3 sounds. Okay, so in a second it's going to be time to come back into the room, and what I suggest we do is we take our hands and we rub our palms together, especially if you have your eyes closed. And after rubbing your palms together, place them over your eyelids and you open your eyes into your palms. And when you're ready, just put your hands down and come back into the room. Start feeling some more energy back into your body. You can wiggle your toes and your fingers if you need to come back into feeling where we are. And thank you. Hopefully that was a really nice experience of just doing a little mindful practice to understand how it can calm you down. Many of you might practice yoga or do physical exercise where you finish on this type of experience, and it really is a great way to center obviously your body and your mind. And so I just want to thank you everyone as well who's logged in for this opportunity to talk to you guys about something that could be of great utility for you. It's the first in a few series. And the next time, we will be talking about how to have mindful practices that are a bit more active. A lot of us have young children, and sitting down quietly and serenely for 15 minutes is not something we're going to be able to do. So we're going to share with you some practices where you can be active, but also mindful at the same time. So I really hope to see many of you in the next session, and I thank you very much for your attention and contribution today.